The story of Eva Dugan stands as one of the most shocking and tragic moments in the history of American capital punishment. On February 21st, 1930, what was supposed to be a routine execution turned into a horrifying spectacle. A moment that exposed the brutal realities and dangers of the death penalty in a way few could have imagined. Eva's story not only shocked a nation, but also forced a re-evaluation of how society carries out its most severe punishment. Eva Dugan was born in 1878 in Missouri. She had a hard life. Her husband left her, and she had 2 children to raise alone. To survive, she worked many jobs. During the Klondike Gold Rush, she moved to Alaska. There, she worked as a cabaret singer and a prostitute. Times were tough, but she managed to get by. Later, she moved to Tucson, Arizona. She was older now and needed steady work to take care of her kids. Eva Dugan's life was far from ordinary. She worked as a housekeeper for Andrew J. Mathis, a prosperous chicken ranch owner in Arizona. Their working relationship was strained by constant disagreements, with Mathis demanding more and more from Eva, who struggled to meet his expectations. Eventually, Mathis fired her, ordering her to leave his property by the next morning. Tragically, the very next day, January 27, 1927, Mathis disappeared without a trace. Along with him vanished some of his personal possessions, including his Dodge Coupe car and a cash box containing valuables. Neighbors soon became suspicious when they saw Eva trying to sell some of Mathis's belongings. This led to a cross-country investigation that traced the stolen car to Kansas City. Eventually, Eva was found and arrested in White Plains, New York. Police tracked Eva all the way to White Plains, New York. She had driven across the country in Mathis's car. She was arrested for stealing the car and sent back to Arizona. At that time, there was no murder charge. She served time for auto theft, but she didn't tell anyone where Mathis was. Then, 9 months later, the truth came out. A body was found in a shallow grave on Mathis's property. It was badly decomposed, but it was clearly him. Now, Eva was charged with murder. Adding to the intrigue, Eva had a mysterious personal history. She had been married 5 times, and, curiously, all her husbands had disappeared under unexplained circumstances. Initially, she went to trial. The evidence was not very strong. There were no witnesses to the crime, and most of the evidence was based on what she did after Mathis went missing. Eva said a young man named Jack had killed Mathis by accident during an argument, and they buried the body in a panic. But no one could find this Jack. The jury didn't believe her. She was found guilty of first-degree murder and sentenced to death by hanging. This made her the first woman in Arizona to face execution. While she was on death row, Eva did something unusual. She started preparing for her own funeral. She didn't want to be buried in the plain wooden box that the prison used for all executions. Instead, she began selling handkerchiefs that she embroidered by hand. She also gave interviews to reporters and asked for donations. Her goal was to raise enough money to buy a better coffin. In total, she earned about $500, which was a lot of money at the time. She used it to pay for a special casket and her burial clothes. Despite her situation, Eva stayed in good spirits. She smiled often and joked with guards. Some newspapers called her Cheerful Eva. She didn't seem scared of dying. On the morning of February 21st, 1930, she was led to the gallows at Arizona State Prison in Florence. She wore a black dress and a black scarf. The hanging was supposed to be quick and simple. The trapdoor would open, and the fall would break her neck. But something went very wrong. When the lever was pulled, the trapdoor opened, and Eva dropped. But instead of breaking her neck, the rope was too tight or the drop too long, and it caused her head to be completely ripped off her body. Her head rolled across the floor, landing near the feet of witnesses. Some people screamed. Others fainted. It was a horrifying scene. This execution shocked everyone who saw it. Newspapers across the country reported the gruesome details. The public was outraged. Arizona officials realized that hanging was no longer acceptable. Just 4 years later, in 1934, the state switched to the gas chamber as a new method of execution. Hanging was never used in Arizona again. Eva Dugan was the only woman ever executed by the state of Arizona. Her story is not just about crime. It's about how one tragic moment changed the way justice was carried out. The botched execution quickly became a national scandal, casting a dark shadow over Arizona's justice system. The incident exposed serious flaws in the practice of hanging as a method of execution. Public outrage grew, sparking heated debates about the humanity and reliability of capital punishment. In response to the tragedy, Arizona abandoned hanging as a method and transitioned to the gas chamber in 1934, a move that reflected a broader national trend towards seeking more humane ways to carry out executions. Eva Dugan's story became a powerful symbol in the ongoing debate over the death penalty. Critics used her fate to argue that the system was prone to error and cruelty, often leading to suffering rather than swift justice. Supporters of reform pointed to the dangers of flawed methods and the irreversible consequences of mistakes. More than 90 years later, Eva's execution remains a chilling reminder of how capital punishment can go horribly wrong. It challenges society to think deeply about the ethics, methods, and risks of taking a human life in the name of justice. Her story is not just a piece of grim history, but a lasting call for vigilance, compassion, and reform in how justice is administered.